Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
6:07, O'Connor and Company on this Wednesday morning. 8:05, Joe Concha will join us, talk about Terry Moran being fired. I'm sorry, not renewed. Like, if you have a magazine subscription and you just say, I don't want that subscription anymore, I'm not going to renew it. Are you firing the magazine? I mean, I guess you sort of
are. It's a nice way of saying it.
8:35, Roma Daravi. It's going to be a big, glitzy, red carpet spectacle tonight at the Kennedy Center. Opening night of Les Miserables. People say, because they know that I have a musical theater history, I'm a bit of an aficionado, if I may. I'm like I'm like a sommelier of musical theater, if it were.
You are.
And they ask me recommendations on shows. What's your favorite show, though? And it's hard, because I have multiple favorite shows based on different genres. But if I could only listen to one cast recording or see one performance for the rest of my life on a desert island, give me Les Miserables. Give me Les Miserables.
Do you have a particular cast you like?
I'll always love the original Broadway cast, which had two actors from the original London production, Colm Wilkinson as Jean Valjean and Francis Raffel as Eponine. But then it was filled out with American actors. Terrence Mann actually played Javert in that production. Terrence Mann has had a fascinating Broadway career. Yeah. He was Rum Tum Tugger in the original Cats. He was in Barnum. He was in, going back to like 1980. He's been around forever. And he was actually, I saw him at the Kennedy Center do a whole tribute concert to the composers and writers of Les Miserables and Miss Saigon. So I would choose that cast, although the one change I would make is I would swap in Lea Salonga. Lea Salonga is interesting. She was the original star of Miss Saigon, written by the same team. And she's the voice of Jasmine and Aladdin and Mulan, and she's a great singer. She's on Broadway right now, by the way, with Bernadette Peters in a Sondheim musical. Lea Salonga has the distinction of touring in the national tour, the first and on Broadway as Eponine, the character that sings "On My Own" in Les Miserables, and she also 20 years later toured as Fantine, the character who sings "I Dreamed a Dream." So she's, as she got older, she came back and did Les Miserables. So I would swap in Lea Salonga in those two roles, both simultaneously, because it's my dream, right? I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm sorry I asked. Don't forget, this is WMAL, not PBS Musical Theater Hour.
And now we're going to dissect a long-forgotten Stephen Sondheim musical from the mid-'60s called Anyone Can Whistle, starring Angela Lansbury. It only lasted 5 days on Broadway, but we're going to spend the next 6 weeks
dissecting it.
Yesterday, Simone Biles, Olympic gold medalist and America's sweetheart, she sort of saw the writing on the wall, recognized that maybe it wasn't a good idea to attack Riley Gaines, and more importantly, to make fun of anyone who's trying to protect women's sports and
to body shame. That's really smart.
Everything about what she did that we unpacked for you on Monday, obviously her PR people recognized that it was probably a bad idea. So she apologized. Kind of, but not really.
No, she didn't. Yeah.
Here's how I take this. She personally insulted Riley Gaines. And Riley Gaines has publicly accepted this as an apology. So if it's good enough for Riley Gaines in terms of the direct personal apology to her, then fine. She says here, I've always believed competitive equity and inclusivity are both essential in sport. The current system doesn't adequately balance those important principles, often leads to frustration and heat exchanges. It didn't help for me to get personal with Riley, which I apologize for. So that is...
Yes, but then she goes on. She says, I was not advocating for policies that compromise fairness in women's sports. Yes, you are. Okay, first of all, yes, you are. Secondly, she said, my objection is to singling out children for public scrutiny. Okay, she's talking about this California athlete, this boy who's outrun every girl and who's gotten all these medals and stuff. That's what this originally came from.
Well, no, just real fast. The original post had to do with the softball pitcher in Minnesota.
Okay,
but then it extrapolated into these. But yes, but same point.
But you know what? Even that softball player in Minnesota, those parents of those girls, the teammates of the boy who's the pitcher, they're celebrating that girl. She's getting a lot of. They are celebrating, or they're putting her on a pedestal. And in California, the mother of that runner, that male runner who's running against girls and winning, is doing as much media as she can. It's a clear case of Munchausen. It is an attention-seeking mother who's pushing this boy, this trans-identifying boy, to get out there and do these races. So as far as Biles, suggesting that Riley in any way singled out these children, no, it's the parents and the parents of the teammates that are singling out these children for scrutiny and for media attention.
Yeah, you're 100% right. The original post by Riley Gaines that got Simone Biles' attention was a response to the Minnesota State High School League celebrating Champlin Park, the softball state champions. Now, this is the team that has a boy as the pitcher who pitched every game, shutout innings, humiliating the girls that he was up against.
Yes.
So to imply that Riley Gaines was guilty of singling out this child for ridicule or public scrutiny is absolutely wrong. Her commentary was on the Minnesota State High School League and on Governor Tim Walz for allowing this to happen.
I mean, she said, and Biles goes on to say, individual athletes, especially kids, should never be the focus of criticism of a flawed system they have no control over. First of all, these parents and these teammates of this girl were celebrating her and saying, we're the champions, we're the champions. You do deserve criticism and you do deserve a spotlight, particularly if you yourself or as a parent, you're going to the media and promoting this. You absolutely deserve scrutiny and to have attention paid to you.
You open yourself up for criticism. Yes. Well, and here's the thing. This is what Riley Gaines said to Minnesota State High School League. Her comment was, because Minnesota State High School League posted this and turned off the comments on social media so no one could reply. And Riley Gaines said, comments off, LOL, to be expected when your star player is a boy. That's not criticism.
Right.
Of the child. So that's, she was merely pointing out the objective truth that one of the players on the team, a player, by the way, that systematically humiliated the girls on the opposing teams.
Absolutely.
You think it's competitive to have a boy pitching in softball, and these poor girls are striking out. They can't make contact with the ball. It's blazing past them. It's demoralizing to those girls. They're the ones who are being victimized by this setup. Listen, I want to set aside her very well-crafted and what I'm guessing is an incredibly expensive apology.
Yes.
She has a gold medal-worthy PR team there. They should be celebrated. Well done. But equivocating in this explanation this way, I'm sorry. It's everybody's business to comment on and scrutinize these public policies.
Yeah, what Biles was trying to do was shut down Riley, shut her up, intimidate her, and bully her. And that is what these boys in girls' sports are doing. This is what the parents of these boys and the teammates of these boys who are playing girls' sports who enjoy a victory because of the boy on their team. It is despicable. I want to just say one thing. The last thing Biles says is, I believe sports organizations have a responsibility to come up with rules supporting inclusion while maintaining fair competition. They did that. They came up with a trans category for the Olympics. Nobody joined it. Nobody did. What does that tell you, Simone? What does that tell you? It's cheating. It's cheating. And so this idea that, and obviously Riley is for figuring out a way.
That's right. Where's
Simone's
suggestion?
Right.
Where's her idea?
Right.
We've come up with one that protects and keeps secure women's sports. I wonder, again, she thinks that this boy was being ridiculed or criticized by Riley Gaines, when what Riley Gaines said, the only thing referring to the athlete was to identify him properly as a boy. So I guess my question is to Simone Biles, is it degrading or demeaning or insulting to call a boy a boy? Please explain that. We'd love to know where you stand. Although it must be pointed out, and I want to be fair, Simone Biles put out this apology to Riley Gaines for personally attacking her and then gave this very long and lengthy explanation that is word salad Kamala Harris worthy. But she ended it with XOXO. So, I mean, there's that.
Ugh.
Put her on a Wheaties box. That's not the only interesting and sort of noteworthy apology, though, that we saw in the last 24 hours. Just 2 hours ago, we got one from Elon Musk. We'll share that with you coming up in a bit. Right now, though, it's 6:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
I don't know what time zone Elon Musk is in at the moment. I mean, he is a man of international mystery. Who knows? He could be in orbit right now. He's got enough rockets and spaceships to be able to do that. But wherever he is, about 2 hours ago, he issued a public statement on his social media platform, X, and it reads as follows. Unlike Simone Biles' 3-paragraph, PR-tested, well-paid-for. I mean, this one could be paid for, too. But what do they say? The fewer words you use, the smarter it is. Here's what Elon Musk said. I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far. And that's it.
Good God.
You think?
You can just tell this is not written by a crisis communication firm. No, this was him.
Less is more. Now that isn't really an apology. Showing regret is part of an apology.
Well, it's better than Simone Biles. I'll tell you that. You can feel this one. Like, oh.
Oh, I bet he regrets it.
Yeah.
I regret some of my posts about President Trump last week. They went too far.
Yeah.
Well, you know, listen, Julie, can we extend a little grace here? We've all been there,
course.
okay?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Who among us has not publicly called a friend of ours who we have said that we love as much as a man can love another man? Who among us have not referred to them then as a pedophile and called for them to lose their job and to get locked up with the key thrown away? I mean, honestly, it happens to all of us.
I mean, seriously.
I love you so much. I mean, you are in the Epstein files. And the truth will come out about you.
I work with a bunch of women. I totally get this. You should see Patrice. Some of Patrice's emails. My God.
I bet it gets ugly.
I'm kidding, Patrice. I'm kidding, Patrice, if you're listening.
I bet it gets ugly. No, but with Mercedes, it's true. Byron York comments, Elon Musk issues statement of regret for, among other things, calling for Trump impeachment, accusing the president of involvement in Epstein scandal, calling top Trump legislative priority a disgusting abomination. It's water under the bridge, man. Come on. Let's go. Where do you want to go? You know what? I'll buy the first round. Let's go. Come on, buddy. Let's go.
It is like we have all been in that situation. I've been in situations where I've been a little too hasty. Yeah. Or I have reached an age, though, where I now say, take a deep breath, walk away. I never used to do that. I never used to even.
Can I just say that I can tell you that the ownership of Cumulus Media writ large, as well as the local station here, WMAL, and, frankly, the FCC appreciates this maturity that you have been able to attain. Very much so, actually.
But this is rough. This is rough for him. He really did take it too far. And but I will tell you, I got to tell you, I was shocked by how Trump did not take the bait.
Nope.
He was total magnanimity, just letting it go.
Yeah. In fact, I believe it was yesterday when he was asked. He said, "I wish Elon the best. Listen,
yeah.
You know, I loved him. I respect him. We had a great relationship.
Say, I wish him the best is sort of the cut. I don't know if you've ever heard that yourself, but it's like, oh, he hates me. It's over.
Yeah. He also has deleted the posts that referred to the Epstein files. So it looks like those, because that's the thing. It's like, I regret some of the posts about President Trump. It's like, okay, which ones don't you regret? You know, like, I'm guessing it's the Epstein ones. There could be more, but there you go. That's the latest. Everything's fine. It's all good. Charge ahead. Full steam ahead. It's like it never happened. It's 6:22.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:37. Thanks for being part of our morning program here. Coming up at 7:05, conversation with Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund. He was the man who was there on January 6th. Nancy Pelosi's got a whole new story that she's telling. She said it yesterday, trying to attack Trump on the National Guard in L.A., trying to make the case, he wouldn't bring out the National Guard for the insurrection he started. Stephen Sund, was the chief of police. He knows the truth, and he'll deliver it coming up in 30 minutes. Also at 8:05, Joe Concha will join us about the firing of Terry Moran at ABC News. And at 8:35, Roma Duravi, spokesperson for the Kennedy Center. It's a big opening night today at the Kennedy Center with Les Miserables in town. That's all coming up. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. And a little bit more musical theater talk now, or do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. So remember when Walmart was the left always creates their enemies, right? I mean, right now it's Elon Musk and it's what other robber bear? Well, of course Trump, but they create all of these boogeymen behind the scenes people. There was the Koch brothers 10 years ago. Remember the Koch brothers?
Yes.
And their strings are attached to everything, and they're actually bought and paid for, and they finance the whole Tea Party movement and all that. And before that, I think when Clinton was in the White House, wasn't it Richard Mellon Scaife? Remember, he was the guy who was funding all of the anti-Clinton stuff. Oh, I forgot the Bush years where it was Halliburton, and all of the people that Michael Moore made movies about, and it just goes on and on. Well, for a while there in the 90s, Walmart was the evil empire. Remember, Walmart was everything Walmart did. Walmart was, and by the way,
they were responsible for food deserts. They were destroying small business, mom and pops. Yeah,
they did harm small businesses, but it was competition, and much of it, by the way, had to do with the policies that Democrats and Republicans loved and embraced in terms of bringing in cheap products from China. Yep. And, listen, we're seeing a reckoning of all of those things.
Yes.
But the idea was that Walmart was using all of that money that they made to push conservative principles and conservative politics, and Republicans are in the back pocket of every Republican politician. Walmart was Sam Walton and the Walmart family. Well, boy, now things have changed. The heiress of the Walmart fortune, or at least one of them, is underwriting much of the anti-Trump activity that we're going to see on June 14th here in Washington, D.C., and around the country. Christy Walton, one of the Walmart heiresses, is buying full-page ads in the New York Times, encouraging people to come out and take to the streets. She inherited a significant portion of the estate that she married into, by the way. She's the widow of the second son of Walmart founder Sam Walton, and through that marriage, she's part of the family. Then her husband mysteriously dies. I'm just saying, it's got a lot of Heinz ketchup sort of feelings to it. And now all that Walmart money that she inherited is being used for the so-called No Kings mobilization across the country this Saturday.
Yeah. And we've seen posters for this all over the country. And even in Alexandria, they're going to be having a No Kings rally. And, obviously in D.C. and New York. And again, this is supposedly... Trump is trying to act like a king and authoritarian, and they're going to protest against. But of course, this will likely end up in violence.
We've seen 10 years of this, and we know what happens. And of course, if there is violence, if they do start burning things down and Antifa takes over and starts breaking windows, which they always do, they'll blame Trump for that too.
That's right.
So Matthew Boyle, the Washington bureau chief, I believe is his title, for Breitbart News, reached out to Walmart and the CEO of Walmart and asked if this is Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, where you shop matters. Was asked a very simple question. Do you think violence is acceptable as a form of protest? It's a pretty simple question. He refused to answer. He was also asked whether he thinks murderers and rapists should be deported from America. Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, refused to answer. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird.
You would think that there's that's low-hanging fruit. It's so easy for, maybe Simone Biles should lend some of the PR people over there to Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart. In fact, I'll give you a freebie. Mrs. Mrs. Walton is free to do with her money whatever she chooses, but it isn't a reflection of our corporation. And, of course, Walmart, being an all-American company, stands for the rule of law. Violence is never an acceptable means of protest. And, yes, anyone in this country guilty of heinous crimes who are not citizens of the nation should be deported as the law states. That's simple. Walmart stands for the rule of law. There you go.
Well, they gave some sort of a statement to Laura Loomer, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
They said we condemn violence.
How does Matthew Boyle feel?
I know.
Poor Matt Boyle can't get a statement, but Loomer, absolutely. Okay.
Apparently they responded to her. They said we condemn violence, including when it's directed towards law enforcement and the damaging of property. I think they actually do have Simone Biles' crisis communications team on work here, and they go on to say, all the bromides. But this is, and they do say the advertisements from Christy Walton are in no way connected to or endorsed by Walmart. She does not serve on the board or play any role in decision making at Walmart. Christy Walton, I mean, look, it's this AWFLs. We use the acronym AWFLs, affluent, white, liberal women, something like that. And really, it is astonishing to me, these wealthy white women and what they support. And as they live these lives of privilege in their mansions, they fund this kind of destruction of the very country that gave them their wealth.
That
it's
built
sickening.
That wealth, yeah.
Yep.
That they didn't build. And in this case, she didn't even get it from an accident of birth. She widowed her way into it, as it
She
were.
Meghan Markled her way into it.
She Teresa Heinzed her way into it.
That's right.
6:44.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Those peaceful protests about social justice and about immigrant rights and about Trump and the National Guard, it's also about getting some free stuff from the Apple Store, because looting continued overnight in downtown last night and the night prior. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, a lot of people say, "Oh, what's the deal? Kamala Harris is the best California's got." Well, when you look at Karen Bass, yeah, that's actually true. Karen Bass makes Kamala Harris look like Franklin Roosevelt. Here she is imposing a curfew.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles.
Why do you need a curfew if you've got peaceful protests, or even mostly peaceful
No
protests?
violence. Nothing happened.
No violence. Nothing's going on. These are
fine.
isolated incidents. Didn't Maxine Waters say that there's no violence?
No violence.
And so many of my left-wing liberal friends, God bless them, who still live in Southern California, they took to Facebook over the weekend, or last night, I should say, and said, "Don't believe what you're seeing in the media," which, by the way, thank you. Welcome to the club. Don't believe what you're seeing in the media. It's very isolated. LA is a very big town, and 99.9% of it, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I love how the Democrats are always throwing around January 6th, which happened in one city block.
It took 4 hours.
And 4 hours, one city block, and they're literally still boo-hooing about it. And, that also, nothing happened in Northern Virginia that day. I went to the grocery store just like normal.
By the way, Mayor Bass also made this announcement. You'll love this. People's businesses are being destroyed. They found a dead body amongst the rubble yesterday. There's violence. There's, mayhem. There's no law and order, everything. But what's the real victim here?
Of the graffiti that is just blanketing a number of blocks has been extensive. We are 1 year away from the World Cup. This is about beautifying our city and bringing our city together.
We want soccer here in a year. We can't have the World Cup if you're going to act like this.
Oh, my God.
That's the priority here. Amazing. And don't even get me started on the Olympics. I don't see how it can happen, but stranger things have occurred. It's 6:52.